FBP family, we have an exciting competition running throughout September 2019. You could win a pair of Bose Quiet Comfort 35 noise cancelling headphones. All you need to do is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Simply go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/win to find out all the details. Welcome to the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. Our foundation partner, Active Management, have been super supportive ever since the launch of our show. They're a fitness business coaching company that helps clients all over the world. Just Google Active Management's owner, Justin Tamsett, and you'll see exactly what I mean. You can search for him on Facebook or on LinkedIn, but whatever you do, I highly recommend you send him a message and connect for a chat. This month, I have a business tip for you all. Join the Active Management Facebook community. It's an amazing group and you'll meet like-minded fitness owners and managers from across the globe. All you need to do is go to facebook.com/groups/Active Management Community. Hi everyone and welcome along to the show. My special guest this week is the CEO and founder of Go to Practice, Joanna Stahl. Joanna is a 20-year industry veteran teaching for Crunch and Equinox. Throughout her career, she's built third-party brand partnerships for Lifetime Fitness and 24-Hour Fitness via in-gym advertising and experiential marketing, which included sponsorship programming, sampling, branded areas, content, and more. Joanna founded her business Go to Practice after identifying the consumer shift in how we search for fitness experiences and the need for on-demand access to a gym. During this week's show, we discuss some of the programs that have come to the US market, grown and stayed over the last couple of years. We talk about actions that consumers are taking when it comes to memberships, how consumer behaviour has impacted pricing, sales, processes and retention, and Joanna leaves us with tips to meet the needs of today's fitness consumer. Let's now transition to this week's show with my special guest, Joanna Stahl. Joanna, a super warm welcome. Thank you for being our guest on this week's show.
I'm excited to be here.
So to get started today, do you want to give us a perspective from your experience in the industry? What would you say are 3 programs, products or facilities that have come to the market, have grown and have stayed over the last couple of years?
It was hard to think about that. In the most recent past, we've got like 70% rise of the growth in boutique studios and, 18% of big box gyms. And so, I think that the fitness experience and that on-demand access and focus on the experience is really big. And if I had to choose 3, I think I would go with stretching, rowing, and boxing. Not only are they their own studio models, but they also have big relevance in the big box gyms as well.
Just give us a super quick insight into what those 3 programs look like.
So the reason why I kind of chose, so to me, stretching kind of merges with wellness, and it's kind of been put underneath the umbrella of gyms now, which I think is amazing. So not only do you have like the personal trainers that have added stretch into the end of their sessions, but now we have whole studios like Stretch Labs that are standalone facilities, but also, a lot of offerings inside of big box gyms. We've got like, therapy sessions with Theraguns and with Hyperices and people just kind of using stretching as a whole category, which I think is kind of cool. So that was one. And then on boxing, we've got Rumble, which is hot and sexy and trendy. But we also have CKO kickboxing, and there's so many Mayweather boxing. There's so many boxing modalities that are up there. that are also being, incorporated into, everyday big box gyms as well with boxing classes. And then rowing, which, coming from being a rower in college, kind of near and dear to my heart, / I have a fear of getting on an erg. But, what my friends over at Row House have done and accomplished with Exponential, but then we've got City Row and then rowing classes inside of Equinox. Just the concept of rowing, I think, is just in big growth mode as well.
So I've never been to a 100% rowing class. So are we literally talking about people sitting on water rowers and sitting around and rowing to music? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So, and honestly, I'm just a participant. So again, flashback to being tortured as a college rower and varsity athlete. But so, rowing is very symbiotic to flow and very like pulling together, which is why I kind of love the row house, mentality. They use concept 2 ergs versus water rowers. We've got water rowers at Equinox. And I personally know of the class that's called Ropes and Rowers. I did the training for it, but I never started teaching it. We've got City Row, which I believe does use water rowers. They kind of have, the different products for different clubs. But yeah, it's a class and you row together and, it's set up in rows of in a dark studio with cool lighting and badass music, and it's very similar group fitness experience, but it's that symbiotic flow to what rowers do, which is kind of like pulling together.
Joanna, if we take a look at the market and we're recognizing that there are these specialist studios out there that are offering your boxing or your rowing or your stretch mindfulness type activities, but then we've also obviously got our traditional big box gyms. In your experience, what type of actions do you actually see consumers taking when it comes to membership? Are you seeing that they're joining members of the gym? Are they using ClassPass? Are they doing drop-in visits? What does that landscape look like?
So the best stat that I have is back in 2012, only 2% of gym members were buying something else every month. And now that number is clearly over 25%. So if we are now talking about 1 in 4 people that are members of a gym that are transient and looking for something else on a monthly basis, we have to pay attention to the rise of the transient and day pass access, whether it's day pass to just give me access to the gym or give me a group fitness experience. Whatever that experience is, we are all seeking out other things all the time. I believe the number is about 45% of millennials that are members not only have 2 gym memberships, are still that same transient consumer. So I think just the concept of the rise of the day pass access, I still believe, and I think I always will believe this, that everyone wants a home base. Like they want their membership. This is where they go. This is the one that's closest to their home. This is their go-to. This is their place where they, see familiar faces. So I do believe that people are joining as members, but I do think that it's kind of connected to this barbell approach that everyone is talking about, where it's that low price point versus the super high price point, and that middle market is struggling today. I don't necessarily believe that that'll be for forever, but I think that that's what we're seeing right now. And then I believe that what consumers are really looking for is quick access. They want what they want, wherever they want, when they want it. And I think that across every category of consumer purchase habits, that is the case. And it's just now happening in fitness as well. So they want the freedom of choice. They're willing to pay more for what they want, when they want it. They want the technology enabled to let that experience happen, which is why I believe ClassPass has acquired so many users in the past. And then I do believe that people really want that experience. So they are, like, a workout today is a large percentage of someone's day that they're willing to put a price tag on. And I think that ultimately is something that they are becoming more and more valued at. So it's very, you sit on your phone and your couch at your home or whatever. It's very difficult to get people out and motivated into a place. And I think a gym has a really great opportunity to capitalize on what people want to do within that healthy lifestyle and getting out and doing something.
So, Joanna, with that in mind, how would you say that consumer behaviour has actually impacted pricing and impacted sales and process and retention within our facilities?
Yeah, this is a really interesting time, I think, for all gyms across the industry, where we've got consumers that are paying for what they want, and they're willing to spend a significantly higher price point on being given exactly what they want when they want it. So for example, if I want a hour cycling class, I might be willing to pay $30 for it, but I might be willing to pay $30 for a day pass access to a big box gym as well. So where if you kind of play around with the pricing, I do believe that gyms are going to kind of allow day pass access across the industry. So right now, if you call up almost any gym, at least in the US, and I believe this is worldwide, you can pay to play everywhere. They just might not be promoting that number right now. And that is why I built Go to Practice, because it is that ability to say someone has to allow the fitness consumer to find access to anything that they want, anytime, anywhere, on demand, because that is what the consumer is demanding. And so I think that when you play around with the pricing models of, does the consumer value that 1 hour boutique experience as the same price as a full day access to anything they want to do at a big box gym? Right now, it seems like those values are pretty similar.
What sort of impact do you think that this actually has on retention? I mean, do you think that by opening up additional options, that it means that our members are staying with their foundation gym, their home base? Are they staying there longer because they've got more options outside of that facility? What are your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts are, and this is a little bit backed by some stats, that everyone's going to have a home base. So I think we're at like 66 million people in the US that are members of gyms. And we've got a couple million more people that are just visitors. And I do believe that those people will end up having a home base. And I want them to, and I hope that they do. The big question is the gyms that maybe have more of a stakehold in experiences is, can they keep members there, or are they going to downgrade and then pay for experiences separately? So I don't know how it is per club, but I do believe that the rise of actual Americans that are purchasing memberships will continue to grow. And I think that the volume of dollars that's spent for ancillary fitness experiences is also going to grow. I think that more people are going to spend more money within the fitness industry in the next few years.
So if we think back to that wellness sector and opening up to stretching and mindfulness and breathing classes and everything that's incorporated in that segment, is that part of this increased usage, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And some of the feedback that I've gotten, just talking to people as I float around and play around with, being a startup, I think that people are willing to spend money on add-on experiences more and more now. And so when we talk about stretching or meditation or, other services that are being offered inside of gyms now, or studios that are built just for this, I think that it's going to be a direct spend and an additional value add that you can bring to the table.
Let's have a sort of behind the scenes or a look into gym membership, and based on your experiences around New York City and in the fitness industry, what would you say are 5 of the most in-demand features of a gym membership in 2019?
So it's funny, I as soon as I started thinking about the concept of like what questions you might ask me, I did think about back to my 24-hour fitness days where everything was about convenience, cleanliness, and caring. And I think I've seen so many decks that have those 3 C's on them. And it's still the same exact thing today across the whole industry where, the location is still the most important piece. So people choose their fitness habits based on location. And I do believe that also adds into, app engagement. So for me personally, within Go to Practice, it kind of says, well, wherever you are, you're going to want access to a gym, and location is really the most important. So knowing kind of where the closest gyms are is important, and being able to book them on demand. So I think convenience as far as location goes, but as far as like booking and make it really simple and easy, kind of in the convenience category. Cleanliness is always going to be super important. No one wants to work out at a dirty gym. Everyone gets wowed by cleanliness and really disapproves on cleanliness. So I think that that's always going to be an in-demand feature. And then lastly, the concept of caring and someone that's along the journey, like that quick smile at the front desk goes so far. Knowing your personal trainer's names, even if you don't work with them, or just being able to say, hi, how are you? I just think the concept of caring and fitness needs to be more and more intertwined. So if I was going to say, if I was in a gym, I would keep those three C's strong.
Okay, so they are things that we consider the most in-demand features of a gym membership. What if we were in a perfect world? What do you think would really absolutely make our member experience?
This is always like the holy grail, right? But I think that knowing not only who you are as your company and your brand, but also why members are joining. I think that's kind of like the first step. And if you can figure that out, then you can then talk about personalizing the experience and automating the experience that the consumer sees every single day. So for example, we're training the front desk staff to say, good morning, Joanna, when you get there. But what if that was already done for you? Can we automate that experience? So in an app, it says, good morning, Joanna, do you need a workout right now? And so kind of having the gym use personalization and automation and the technology that is at people's fingertips today, if we can use that for the powers of good and not oversaturate members' emails and inboxes and text messages, we kind of have like a fine line there. I think that would be kind of the wish list. And then I also think like really basic, we just need variety. So we got to keep it sexy all the time. I mean, the reason why programs come and go is because we're looking for what's next. And so I think that, kind of staying true to your brand, but also throwing in new equipment, throwing in new classes, new instructors, making sure people know just the basics is also still going to be really important. What are your holiday hours? Because people really want to know.
Okay, so Joanna, let's wrap all of this up into our Fit Inspiration for today. And do you want to leave us with 3 tips in order to meet the needs of today's fitness consumer?
So I would say the biggest thing that when I talk to gym owners and operators and even software companies that run the industry, I think that the idea of never getting comfortable has to stay true. So number one, most important thing is you got to stay up to date and be open-minded to new technology and new ways of thinking, and just the realization that being comfortable as a business owner is not ideal. Kind of secondly, I think accessibility and flexibility is really important. And I would say allowing customization and different membership types and letting people walk in and pay to play. And the fear of, oh no, if they're not going to join, that's not the end of the day. I mean, the consumer paying to play, they're probably paying 3 times the price. Let them in, let them have a great experience, let them tell everyone about it. They'll be back. And then I would just say kind of just that offering of, creating a friendly and inviting and delivering on your promise, like kind of staying true to who you are, I think is probably my last key, and kind of the key that, if you think back to all of our fitness friends that are either running their own businesses or met their friends at the gym and see them every single day, that authenticity is really kind of probably definitely the reason why I keep coming back.
Yeah, I think that last point that you made is really important. I was just having the same conversation with someone recently, because I think that what we all need to be so mindful of is that the experience that we portray on our websites and on our social media pages needs to be the same experience as every single member gets when they walk in the door of our facility. And that piece around being authentic and being ourselves, the only way we can ensure that happens is if we are authentic and if we are really genuine about the way that we market our business and promote our classes and our services. So I always like to think about that point and take a quick reflection on thinking about, okay, so what are the messages that we're putting out on our social media pages? What are the images that we're using? Are we using real life images of our actual instructors? Celebrating the achievements of our members and using that content as well, rather than going down this old-fashioned path of using stock images or using unattainable body images that don't speak to our audience. So that last one I just feel is so important to always check back and make sure that we're being truly authentic to our brand in front of our members.
I couldn't agree more.
And I want to thank you so much for giving us your insights. You're sitting there in the middle of the New York fitness market, and it's so great to hear your perspective and your experience on things. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. You're always my favorite.
FBP family, we have an exciting competition running throughout September 2019. You could win a pair of Bose Quiet Comfort 35 noise cancelling headphones. All you need to do is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Simply go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/win to find out all the details. Tribe, if you haven't explored a functional training space for your gym, then now is the time. With Equinox Functional Training by Precor, there is a unit to fit every space. Plus, education is included to ensure that training is delivered with confidence. You need to jump online and check this out right now. Go to precor.com/fitness business podcast.
Precor Quickfire 5.
Hi team, we don't have a Precor Quickfire 5 this week because next week we have a very special guest returning to the show for the second time. That special guest is the founder and director of social media at Think Tank Social, Sam Mutimer. Now, you might recall Sam joined us on show 181 talking about how to develop a social media strategy for your fitness business. If you missed that episode, then you have a little bit of homework to do this week, and that is to go over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and search for show 181. Take a listen before next week's episode, because when Sam joins us next week, she's going to be talking to us about how to use social media to grow your personal brand. Thank you for joining me for this week's show, and a reminder that all the resources and links for today's episode can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you to our foundation partner, Active Management. As a listener of the show, you have a special opportunity to work with JT. You can get one free session when you buy one coaching session. No matter where you are in the world, technology allows him to work with you. Simply go to activemgmt.com.au/FBP family and work with JT to get more people moving and moving more often. That's one free session when you buy one coaching session, and it's exclusive to you. Go to www.activemgmt.com.au/FBP family. Thank you once again for joining me today, and remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.